to have around because of his spirit.
That's me. I had hair.
And his experience. He was great in terms of vernacular.
When you come in, you get butted, so you bing with the elbow.
It meant a lot to all of us to have his association because I tried to sort of stay away from the boxing in certain ways. But I know that Russell in particular, they reveled in Angelo's being there.
Hey, Helen, look what I got. Helen's gonna be jealous, Maro. I like a good-looking man, I swear. I like that. I love you, yeah. This is the biggie, boy, I swear. I tell you, it's a nice working bunch, you know? And we have a lot of fun together. That's the important thing.
It was a collective decision by Ron and myself to use real boxers for most of the other boxing roles. One, I thought it would give me more immediate motivation and inspiration directly in front of them. And two, at some stage you want to be able to go full speed and full force.
Look at that speed. Our Lasky style.
Yeah, well, Junior's a goose, but he's a good goose.
Russell's nuts. He's taking us to places no man's ever been. We don't know where we're going.
I heard about the where no man's ever been. What about the blokes that built the road? Obviously, I wasn't thinking clearly at the time.
They told me that my character looked good, but I don't think he looked this good. I don't think he looks this good.
Troy's a lovely guy and a hell of an athlete. And, you know, like I warned them all. Seriously, the one thing that you never do on the farm is tell my old man you're scared of stuff. I wonder how many years it'll take Troy to forget the crocodile incident. I have this stuffed crocodile. I bought it at I don't know, I just saw this terrible old taxidermed crocodile. So, but it's been a great tool for my dad. He's got a hell of a lot of laughs out of it over the years.
Oh shit, that's a cop. What? Me.
And I'm really pleased that we found out that Troy's scared to death of snakes and crocodiles and spiders and stuff because it's the only way we can get back at him. Certainly can't do it by boxing.
Got him again. Got him again.
My nerves are gonna be shot by the time I get back home.
Braddock does left jab fake, left jab block. Then there's a beat. Then we come back with a left jab to the body fake and a left hook to the head. I want to protect my head from this punch.
I said to the fight coordinator, Steve Luchescu, right from the beginning, the choreography is massively important. And somebody has to do the dog's work and actually write out the 5,000, 7,000 moves that will make up the fighting sequences of the
Right
movie.
hook body with a left jab head hit, right straight head block. Braddock continues with left hook body hit, right hook body block as Lasky attempts a clinch. Braddock pushes him away, throws left hook head hit. As they separate.
Wait, slow down. Yeah.
That thesis then becomes the thing that we critique, we tear down, and that we improve on.
So you're going great with all your punches, but then you've got to examine what you're receiving, and where if there's a missed punch on the choreography, you've got to show why.
That's good. If we can get it that fast and you stay that low, that looks great, Junior.
But as Angelo said to both Ron and myself very early on, every fight is completely different. You can't ever assume anything about what might happen. You have to evaluate what your opponent is doing then and there, in the moment. It's the unpredictable flurries of violence and the split-second opportunities taken that we want to recreate. Recovering on your feet, counter-punching, action and reaction, real-time contact and that contact's effect. We're bringing a whole lot of guys that are trained for the majority of their lives into a situation and reteaching them that now the thing that they do instinctively, they have to completely control.
The natural instinct is to throw the punch and he throws it. So that's what we got to break you of it. And now once we have a final version that the director likes, that Ron Howard likes, now we bring it back and now we're going over with Russell. So now we'll go through each one and he gets in and now he adapts it to his fighting style.
And then I think, boom, 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 boom. But that's the glancing blow, so that takes the elbow. Head to the head. Boom.
My uppercut.
Shoulder.
Junior, hello.
Yeah,
He's thinking.
He gets that deer in the headlight look every once in a while.
Man, I get scared.
Ron's frameworks are very ambitious. Through the course of the process, we'll probably end up replacing or changing or expanding 90% of the original 5,000 to 7,000 move thesis.
It's looking good. A lot of work to do, but
Yeah.
I think the intensity certainly was picking up. It was in this ring that Russell did throw a left hook and his shoulder popped out. It was just incredible, you know.
The surgery took about 2¼ hours, which is longer than I normally take for this sort of procedure. The problem that we have now is that he has torn off some bone as well as his ligaments, making the injury more significant than we realised. And because of the bony fragment, we have gone ahead to do a reconstruction of the anterior labrum via the scope. And it also is a procedure that normally requires a bit more protection after the surgery. However, the aim here was to get Russell back to immediate activity, and so we're going to pursue that, bearing in mind that there is an element of risk involved because of the repair. One of the problems that we found was that he had damage to the cartilage of the joint, and this didn't show up on the scan and often doesn't, but he has damaged the cartilage, which will have some repercussions for later in life. I would suspect that Russell will be a little disappointed that we had to do more than we originally planned, and this may have some repercussions on his recovery time. For that reason, I've asked for the involvement of a physiotherapist that's been involved with some of our previous projects.
Well, for what he's had, I believe it was an anterior dislocation from throwing a left hook that was deflected with all the trauma that's associated with it. Usually after arthroscopy, standard treatment is really in a sling resting 4 to 6 weeks. Then you start some mobilisation. You might start a little bit earlier than that. So you're really looking down the track anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. So what we're trying to do is really, it's unconventional. So no guarantees.
Film is a complicated and